Before we get into the Bitcoin 1 month overview reading for July 2023, I just want to make it clear, all my angel investors out there, for the new guys watching the channel. I'll call you guys my angel investors because you're following the rule of karma, which is the unwritten rule of the channel. We ask that you take 5% of the profits that you make from this information and you donate it forward to one of these charities. That ensures that you stay in abundance mentality. It's kind of like the completion of a Tarot for Traders trade. A full Tarot for Traders successful trade includes 5% donated forward and 5% donated backwards to the channel. You can donate 5% back at Cashapp, PayPal, Venmo, or Wise if you're international. That leaves you with 90% of the money that you made from this information. Make sure you spend it out of love. That's the rule of karma. You follow that rule of karma, the universe is going to send it back to you tenfold from all directions, my friends. Now let's get into the reading. This is the Bitcoin 1 month overview reading for the month of July 2023. It's currently May 13th, 2023, 3:13 p.m. Eastern Time. Bitcoin at the time of this reading currently $26,862.46. That's USD. And the shuffle file for the Bitcoin July reading was created on May 4th, 2023 at 4:31 p.m. That's this file right here. So the overall theme and behavior for the month of Bitcoin, we have a rally that offers an opportunity to open up a short position. There's an important peak on a year-to-date kind of scale here. And it's crossed with a prominent move higher standing out on a 1 month chart, where we successfully turn resistance into support at the end of that move higher. Behavior around the high side, we have a rally increasing with momentum moving forward into the high. It'll stand out on a multi-day chart, and off of the high there's a sharp drop. Behavior around the lowest low, we have a really substantial move to the upside out of the low. It'll be overbought, severely overbought territory, and will move significantly to the upside out of the low, standing out on a multi-day chart, at least a 1 month scale kind of chart. Before we go any further, let's take a look at the 1 year, see where we're at so far. So we had a crest in February, we have a crest in February, we had a trough then in March, another crest in April. So this is pretty solid. This might be the crest for May right here. July was June was apparently pretty decliney, and then in July's cluster here, what I see is a brief peak that's easily missed. We have a cross-reading congruency here, where we have the Princess of Wands in the high correlator position for the cluster of July. That's a cross-reading congruency. We have the Princess of Wands here as the theme card. So this is a significant top that will really stand out. The remainder of the cluster looks like there's a brief peak that's easily missed. And towards the end of the month, we do some bumping along resistance, breaking through resistance, bumping along resistance. It looks like we go from a brief peak that's easily missed to a big move out of a low and then bumping along resistance. It looks like we may have the high on the cusp here of July and August, and that really speaks volumes here. It's pretty much the high right here on the end of the month. On the 31st is where we see most likely location of a highest high. That's the highest probable location for the highest high. All right, I'm back. I made some markups, didn't want to waste time in the recording. We have 3 cross-reading correlations that are pretty helpful in indicating where the lowest low is. So we most likely have a lowest low here on the cusp of the 2nd, 3rd, or a lowest low somewhere between the 4th, 5th. So either the 2nd, 3rd, or the 4th, 5th. We have a low correlation congruency here. This is the Magus card is the lowest low card for the 1 year cluster, for the July cluster, right? So that helped to indicate somewhere around there. It's not always right on the dot with a cross-reading correlation, but it's somewhere around there. And then we have the highest high correlates in late July to the victory card correlates to the late July cluster card here, the Valor card, also giving strength to this being a highest high. So on the 1st, we have a decline through that'll stand out on a multi-day chart to reach a support level that we recently met once before. There's 2 trade opportunities there, which I'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. If you're interested in the paid version, guys, it's a really great way to support the channel. You get the paid version here at Tarot for Traders on our services tab, SO Meta Forecasts, or SO Meta Posts, I should say. You can get early access for $29 a month here. You would have got the access to the public version of this Bitcoin reading back in May if you had the early access. And then if you want to get the paid version, monthly subscription, click here to order. There's a bunch of different ones that you can order. Individual subscription, $111 a month, or you can get access to all of these paid versions for $250. It's a steal, my friends. With that said, let's get back to it. It's a really great way to support the channel, and we definitely remember everybody that goes ahead and does that because they're crucial to our development. All right, so on the first out of a trough or a lowest low, we have another trade opportunity and an unexpected move to the upside. A crest or peak on the cusp of the second third, and a brief peak that's easily missed, followed by a sharp decline through multiple support levels standing out on a multi-day there on the third. On the 5th, we have a move higher through resistance. We stay above it briefly, and then we break back down through the same price level, possibly a lowest low on the cusp here of the 4th, 5th. On the 5th, a notable move higher, standing out on a 1-month chart at least. There's a trade opportunity there I'll talk about in the paid version. And then on the 6th, we have from a notable peak or crest that'll stand out on a 1-month chart. We have a sell-off that'll stand out on a 1-month chart. It turns into a rally along a diagonal trend line leading into the 7th, where that rally along a diagonal trend line ends with a fast sudden move higher, taking us to a crest or peak towards the end of the day on the 7th. But that fast sudden move higher marks the end of the rally along the diagonal trend line, and we shortly thereafter break down through the diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down. On the 8th, we have quite a lot of price change, allowing for opportunity to position oneself in both directions should you want to. There's a significant amount of trade opportunity there and an important price level I'll talk about in more detail in the paid version, but you could position yourself putting a leg on at a time, different directions. There's a trough at the end of the day and a big move to the upside out of that trough. On the 9th, we have sideways fluctuations along a key support level on a multi-day scale. Sideways fluctuations or sideways fluidity, equal amounts of bulls and bears, inflow, outflow. Basically, you finish the energy of the change card finishes the price level close to where it started. On the 10th, we have a big move out of what appears to be a trough, or a significant trough for the month there. On the cusp of the 9th, 10th, we have a big move to the upside, pushing the upper end of a range higher, especially towards the end of the day there, big move to the upside. On the 11th, we have, after we've successfully turned resistance into new support there around the cusp of the 10th, 11th, we have a significant move or significant decline through multiple support levels on a multi-day kind of scale there on the 11th. On the 12th, a sideways S formation that forms within a channel. There's a trade opportunity there as well. So sideways S formation, a decline, retracement back to resistance, retracement back to support. So you decline to support from resistance, retracement back to resistance, retracement back to support. Creates a sideways S within a channel. On the 13th, a failed attempt to break through key resistance on a multi-day scale, followed by a decline through key support on a multi-day scale. There's a trade opportunity there. On the 14th, we have a period of sideways rotation and a sharp drop that stands out in that period of sideways rotation. We attempt to establish support along a key support level on the 15th. Looks like it's to the downside. On the 16th, more decline, really standing out on a multi-day scale. And then on the 17th, interesting. On the 17th and the 18th, we have the Princess of Discs and the Ace of Discs back-to-back. Pretty significant trade opportunity here over the 17th and the 18th, which I'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. But I would say that there's this on a multi-day scale is probably a really good place to cash in on a trade, which I'll get into in more detail again in the paid version. There's an important support level, at least one important support level there. Looks like we successfully turned resistance into new support there on the 17th, 18th, and do some sideways rotation. But a lot of price change on the 17th and 18th as well. Usually around the Ace of Discs, there's a lot of price change. On the 19th, we have a prominent crest or peak that will stand out on a multi-day, and we sell off from that crest or peak. It's an overbought crest or peak. We sell off through multiple support levels. On the 20th, a fast sudden move higher on a multi-day. On the 21st, a reversal that will really stand out on a multi-day, and there's a peak or crest there on the 21st as well. I might have left out, there's a peak or crest on the cusp of the 19th, 20th. So we reverse there on the 21st, like midday, peak or crest, and a lot of decline towards the end of the day on the 21st, really standing out. Out of that decline on the 22nd, we have a notable move higher from the bottom of range all the way to the top of range. On the 23rd, a prominent low that'll stand out in a period of volatility where we have a sharp drop that'll stand out in that period of volatility. And then on the 24th, we establish support along key support level on a multi-day, have a prominent move higher off of that support, and then reestablish support at a higher level there again. There's a trade opportunity I'll talk about in more detail in the paid. On the 25th, we have a decline marking an opportunity to open up a position. There's actually a day trade opportunity here on the 25th. Either that or it's a swing trade overnight, and we'll talk about it in more detail in the paid version. But notable decline on the 25th, prominent trough on the 26th, really standing out, and then a big move to the upside on around the cusp of the 26th, 27th. Rally ends on the 27th, turning into a decline, and then out of the decline on the 28th, we have an unexpected move higher, even in the face of seemingly overwhelming headwinds. There's an important price level there. A crest at the end of the day on the 28th or on the 29th that we sell off from down to and through support on a multi-day scale. We do a U-shaped reversal, come back and reuse it as support. But there's a prominent crest there on the 24th, on the 29th. On the 30th, we have a decline to and through support. We meet a second support, and then we rotate sideways along that support that's on a multi-day scale. And then on the 31st, we have a notable move higher on a multi-day scale standing out with a breakout on a 1 month scale at least, taking us to a highest high. We may have visited the highest high there on the 28th, possibly, but my sense is here on the 31st, we have a highest high. Sneak preview for the following month, a notable decline through multiple support levels and a unicursal hexagram, so a significant decline that's standing out on a year-to-date kind of scale, most likely. Does that look accurate when we look at the 1 year? Really could be, yeah. So we'll talk about it. We've got unicursal right there, another cross-reading congruency. Unicursal right there in August, at the beginning of August. In any case, that's Bitcoin for July 2023. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, my friends. Most importantly, make sure to follow that rule of karma. You do so here at the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, where angel investors are donating 5% of the profits back, 5% of the profits forward, and spending that money out of love, leaving them with the universe sending it back to them tenfold from all directions, my friends. I'll see you on the next one, guys. Stay tuned if you got the paid version.